Let's see.
Ladies
I
and
want to make
gentlemen, welcome to
sure.
Stand Speakeasy. I'm your host, Sareth Ney. And every episode, I bring a comic on that's performing at the fest or just giving them their flowers while they're here. So that being said, Susan Modeste, how are you, pal?
I'm good. Excited to be here with you.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you as my guest. So, but yeah, so we tried to do stand up, but it was like the Dolphins were playing. And we're like, we can't beat the Dolphins. So,
No, we couldn't compete with that one.
nope. And then I went over to like the Oyster Pub down the street to go watch it with my friends, and they ended up losing too. So I was like, oh well, we all took L's that day,
Yep, those people missed us for nothing.
right? Exactly. It's like just come to us for halftime and then go back over there or something. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. So but yeah, you've been helping people with with their mental health, and what got you into people's mental health?
Well, I studied psychology in college, and so that was a natural path for anybody with a psychology degree. And so I've been doing that in different ways all my life, with adults, with kids, everybody.
That's awesome. That was one of my favorite courses in college, and I wasn't that great with like the book side, but my teacher goes, if you watch like a psychological thriller or anything that deals with the mind, like movie wise, and
Yeah,
write a report about it, you can get extra credit and they'll boost your grade up. And so I went from a D to a B, so I'm like, that'll work. So
nice. What movie did you
yeah.
watch?
Oh, I watched so many. I watched Identity is like my all time favorite psychological one that messes with your head.
Yep,
And
it does.
I I love like I think Seven was on the list too, and like Saw was one of them because like the ending, you didn't expect him
Oh,
to be the bad guy at the end, so
right, right. Those are good ones. Those are fun ones.
yeah, and Fight Club, the list goes on and on. It's just so many movies that mess. Memento was another one, just those ones that mess with your head is so much fun.
Yes, yep. Keep you thinking for a long time.
Oh yeah, the most recent one that I watched was Strange Darling,
I
and
haven't seen
it's
that one.
I was in theaters about a serial killer, but all the scenes are out of order and it all comes together in the end. It's so cool how they made it. So,
Oh wow. Were
yeah.
you able to figure out who it was?
When like towards like, the climax of the film and it was like, okay, it all makes sense now and then but it was cool how they all did it. Though. I was like, this is brilliant.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yep. So when it comes to streaming services, watch Strange Darling, okay?
Okay, I will. I'll put it on the list.
There's awesome, fantastic. And so also so recently how long have you been doing stand up?
Since February of this
Wow.
year.
That's awesome.
Yep, yep. I'm still having
Yep.
fun though. It's hard
Yep.
being new. It's hard being like so bad at something that you love, but you just have to go through it,
Big
and
time.
to get good. But when you've been a professional for so long and you're starting from the bottom of something, it is hard. But comedies are something I've always loved, and so if anything, I'm just returning to where I should have been all along, as far as I'm concerned.
Same. I feel you on that one. I went to school to be a journalist, and
Oh,
I got my degree and everything, but like I wanted to be in film, and so it's just like maybe like I did my Hollywood Dream and got it all out done, and I'm like, and then I was like told to do stand up because I kept on making my favorite director laugh while I was in LA. I was like, all right,
uh-huh.
I'll switch gears. Yeah.
And when you did, it felt right. It felt like home.
Yep. Yep.
Nice, nice.
And then I just
Well,
left back to Colorado after that, and the rest is history. So yeah.
nice. I'd like to hear more about the movies that you did out there in Hollywood, though.
Oh, well, I didn't. I had like my short film that I made um, out there with like a couple of the folks from the studio. On my birthday, I decided to dress up as my superhero alter ego and have my own parade on Hollywood Boulevard, like the rest of those cosplayers.
Nice.
Yeah, we made a short film of it and we roasted it like last year, I think. Because I wanted to do like Mystery Science Theater at the festival with the comedians, and it was so much fun. We
Nice.
have one more this year, and then that's like all of my short films. And then we had like a little film festival with all my short films in the studio that
Oh,
I was apprenticing at, and they named it Sareth Fest. And then I took a 3 year break, and I was like, I went to concert journalism, so I got to pay to go to concerts all the time. So it was like the best job
ooh,
ever out there.
yeah,
Like 150 shows in like 2 years. It was nuts. From like the local bands to the internationally known bands. It was awesome.
nice. That sounds good. I need a
And
job like
then
that.
oh yeah, I'll teach you how to get free press like credentials to get into all that stuff too if you want.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
Indeed, all you gotta do is like write a preview article. 400 words is the best. And then you put in your credential request. You send that preview to their publicist, like 2 weeks in advance of the show, and see if you
Uh-huh.
get approved or not. And then, because like they'll want to see an example of your work, and then
Okay.
they'll say like, "Yeah, I love the way you write. Here's a photo pass. Here's a ticket. Enjoy the show." And they give you the photo pass to run in
Oh,
between the artist and the bands. It's so fun.
wow. Nice.
Yeah, and you get to go backstage sometimes to interview the musicians. It's pretty neat.
Can we do that with comedy?
Yeah,
You think?
absolutely. That's what I'm doing now with you. So it's like, huh.
Yeah,
But
true, true.
yeah. And then when you like build like your like a rep, for yourself, it's like the everyone will reach out to you or you reach out to them. I usually like to interview like local level comics because then
Hmm.
if you become famous and stuff, you'll probably end up having to pay them to be your guest, and or
Yeah.
vice versa. It's like I'm not in this for the money. I
So
journalism
wait, you're
has
not paying me
blessed
for
me.
this?
No, I'm not paying you for this.
Oh. Okay, my people misunderstood your people.
Yeah, exactly. The next interview, I'll reach out to your people and we'll figure it all out.
That's all right. I
Awesome.
still like to talk to you, so it's fine. I'll do this one for free.
Awesome. Ditto, Susan. Ditto. Awesome. And so you also perform all over Central Florida. And so what are some of your favorite places to perform at?
Well, definitely there's a couple spots in Melbourne and Rockledge that I really enjoyed. Uh, can I go ahead and say names or
Oh yeah,
like?
go for it.
Yeah,
Shout them out.
okay. I Twisted Birch. I really like that. That crowd is just so fun. And it's always a packed house. Even though it's not a comedy club, uh, it's actually a bar and a restaurant kind of thing. But they have a designated area for performances, and that audience is always so tuned in, and it's like they're so diverse as far as their taste with comedy. So I love that. Oceanside Distillery is another one in Cocoa Beach. Sorry, no, Cape Canaveral. It's a small room, but it feels real intimate. So it's nice. And then of course Melbourne, I got to shout out El Mojitos, which is we have every Thursday night, and I know some of those guys are gonna end up famous. So I'm getting all my interviews now, just like you said. So
Yeah, absolutely. Have us talk about you and all that good stuff. Because that's like the one of the important things about being an entertainer is like get all the press you can. Like don't like, and I tell people don't pay for your interviews because it's just. I mean, that's how other people do it. But I'm like, it's just I feel wrong doing that, like charging my guest to be my guest or whatever. Or
oh
like, yeah, it's just well, some people make their money that way, so I'm like, I'm not in it for the money kind of thing. So
I get it.
it's
I
slow.
get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. When I get to Cat Williams level, then I'm probably gonna make Shannon Sharp pay me, but
absolutely.
not yet.
I I had an I had an interesting run-in with Cat Williams in LA when I was out there.
Tell me.
Oh, I went to the Method Man, Redman, and Ghostface Killer show at the House of Blues when it was still
Uh huh.
around. And like Method Man and Redman's people love me so much because I bought all the merch from them. Like, you want to stay
Uh
for the
huh.
second show? I'm like, sure, I'll stay for the second show. And they gave me a bracelet, and I go up to the balcony, and I'm just hanging out, just chilling, relaxing, because I was already front row for the first show. And
Uh huh.
so Cat Williams shows up out of nowhere, and he starts throwing money off the balcony and starts dancing and stuff to the music, like
Wow.
just swaying back and forth. And then he pours out some Dom Perignon and started handing him out to people all around him. And I'm like, I don't even drink, dude,
Wow.
so I declined a drink from Cat Williams.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
big. And plus Dom Perignon, nobody usually declines that because isn't that like $500 a bottle or something like that? Or
possibly. And
something like that.
if I was
I
a
don't know.
drinker, I would totally would. Yeah.
I would have become a drinker that night, even if I wasn't. Well, that's a great
Yeah.
experience. I
Oh
need to
yeah.
hang out in more places like that. See if he shows up. Might get my phone bill paid or something. With
Yeah.
what he throws over the balcony.
It's like he can afford all that stuff. He might as well help out, you know. So
Right, right, right. Exactly.
yeah, we got some audience members in the crowd. So if you'd like to interact in the chat, you're more than welcome to. Just be nice to us. I always tell that warning, so people be nice to us.
Yes, be
Uh,
nice to us.
yeah. So you
Am
also
I able to see the chat or no?
oh
Can I?
yeah, go to comments on the right hand side of the screen.
Okay.
Yep, and then you'll always see like people. And then if you want, I can pop up the comments on the screen, but only the nice ones. So
We'll see how nice they are. But thank you for
yeah,
joining, whoever did.
yeah, good stuff.
Good
And
stuff.
I love Melbourne. Like I'm wearing one of Melbourne's finest tees, Jimmy's shirt.
Which
Yeah,
one is it?
this the
Your name
certified
is.
mess of
Oh,
his.
okay.
Yeah, it was from his road. So I'm like, I always gotta show love to Jimmy because he's out there chasing his dreams in Austin, and I'm like, I'm so proud of him.
Oh,
So
nice,
even though
nice.
I make him angry sometimes,
We make our best friends angry sometimes.
oh yeah, he's a good one for sure. I'm so proud of him. And so you also performed at the historic Gotham Comedy Club in New York City too. So
I did. I
how
did.
was that?
That was an amazing experience. And when I first walked in, actually, when I was even just outside and just seeing, the sign and having seen it watching comedy for so many years, and then actually being in front of that sign and knowing that I was about to go in, and it even had a sign that said like Comedy All Stars because I unfortunately was not on the bill, not yet. But it had Comedy All Stars, and it just felt good knowing that there were going to be all stars in that same building performing where I would be performing. And so that was a big deal for me. And then when you first walk in, I'm sure you've been to comedy clubs like that, but when you first walk in, you see all of those pictures of all the greats, like Colin was right there and Dave Chappelle was right there. And I think Seinfeld was next, and just their signatures and just getting that feeling that they had walked down the halls with the same intention that I had of making people laugh. Um, it felt amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah, like the Orlando Funny Bones like that. Like when you have you been?
No, I'm hoping to.
Oh,
I'm
it's
hoping
amazing.
to.
Go to their mics on Thursdays. I think sign up is like do the blank page comedy workshop with Carmen Malone, and he'll like
Oh,
it's like 6 o'clock, and then like he'll put the list out, and it's so popular that there's always a bump list. It's
okay.
yeah, it's wild. So definitely get there early, sign up for the workshop, because it's a fun workshop, and and the stage time
Definitely.
is just amazing. Even though you can hear people making the bartenders making the margaritas in the back, you'll still have a good time.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll
man.
be fun. Thank you for telling me about that. I love workshops too.
Oh yeah, fantastic. He's and Carmen. I ran into Carmen in Wisconsin when I went up there to do I to go to a horror convention, but I was like, I'm gonna go to Wisconsin to knock that state out of off my bucket list. And then sure enough,
Uh-huh.
he showed up at an open mic that I was at, and then we were just hanging out like buds. He was like, "What are you doing up here?" And I'm like, "I'm just here for a horror convention. My buddy RV put me on his pizza show, and I just needed to get my mic time in because I'm a bit rusty from the plane." And then he was there because Bonkers booked him up in Wisconsin, so it was pretty
Oh,
dope.
nice.
So it's a
Wow.
good way to get in is with Bonkers because they have clubs all over the country. And
Oh, okay.
and I asked him,
Great
how
tip.
did you get into Bonkers? And I was like, just email them. It's on their website. Email them every Monday. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I hope some other comedians are listening to this too. And if they're not listening to us, well, then they're going to miss out. Hopefully they are.
Hey,
Because I'm
absolutely.
going to do that.
For sure. I have yet to do a bonkers room, so I'm like, so hopefully they'll help me out, and hopefully my material's good enough, or my everything's good enough. I have EPK and all that stuff, so we'll see what
I've
happens.
heard
I
this
haven't.
stuff. I've heard this stuff, and you're hilarious. So I'd love to see you in Bonkers.
Aw, thank you. Yep, I can do up to 10 minutes clean because I did Jonathan Gordon's room. Have you done that
Hmm.
yet? Yep.
I
So
have. I love that room too. I should have mentioned that. That crowd is very, very kind.
oh yeah. So shout out to New Shiloh Christian Center, and
Yes.
yep. I went up before before the intermission, and the comic before me said a bad word on stage, like a curse word.
At the
And
church?
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. No, everyone was clutching their pearls, and I was like freaking out.
Do I
And
know
then
that comedian? Whoever it was.
you do. I'll private message you who it was, and it's
I'm not surprised.
yeah. And so to get them back on the good graces in the church, I was like, God is good all the time, and then said, all the time God
All
is
the
good.
time. That'll
And
always
it
bring him back.
totally worked. Yeah.
That would have been hilarious for me to see you do that specifically because I have seen your other stuff. So that would have
Yeah.
I'd have been out on the floor.
And then I left during the intermission, and I'm like, and before I left, Ash Cash was on the bill with me, and she was
Uh-huh.
like, Sweat, can I use that please? And I'm like, yes. Like we all struggle with teen comedy, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because life is not clean. And
nope.
the funniest things about life that we turn into comedy sometimes are like either the dirtiest, the saddest, the most traumatic, or whatever. But they make the funniest.
Oh
So,
yeah,
but
for
I
sure.
love that that church has a good sense of humor. I love
Oh yeah, same here. And
that.
Jonathan was like, I'm gonna have you every June for Juneteenth, and I'm like, I'm not even black, but I'll
We've adopted you into the fold.
pretty much.
You can come to all the cookouts now.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And like one of my jokes now is like I someone in Daytona said I had an LL Cool J face, and then like someone in Jacksonville said I was a light skinned Drake. I'm like, you guys are just so mean.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about if I were you being called Drake. I don't know because
Oh yeah, that's too scary. He's oof,
that's a bit scary
nah,
now. I mean, I used to be a fan, but now,
not so
just
much.
kidding.
And then when I said that at the church, I'm like, I'm a Kendrick fan anyway, so I'm like,
That's right, exactly. We call you a light
yeah,
skinned Kendrick, then we could work with
yeah, Team Kendrick all the way. Oh man.
this.
So this is like the part of the show where I ask all the comics the same questions because everyone's different, and there's like
Mhm.
700 interviews on 1,000 interviews probably on my YouTube channel by now. So with
Nice.
that being said, Susan, what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy for the for those that are just tuning in?
Literally, it overcomes everything that I've ever been afraid of in life. Like every anxiety, because I'm a person, I have anxiety, always have had anxiety. And like, this is like a culmination. It's like if I could get up there and just be myself on stage and try to bring out emotion, but at the same time, be like, laughter is healing, So all the years that I was trying to do either therapy or counseling, trying to help people that way, this is another way to do that. But but at the same time, meeting my own, um, overcoming my own obstacles in the biggest possible way because life is too short. And I want to do it with a bang, and plus I've always loved comedy.
Oh yeah, I've always loved it too. Like, I just grew up on like John Leguizamo was like my first experience of like a one person show, and he was like
Uh-huh.
Manny the Fanny, and it just had me rolling like. And so when he dressed up as a lady boy, I guess it's the best way to put it. It's like, good
That's
lord,
what got you hooked. That's what got
yeah.
you
And then I
hooked.
did comedians
Nice,
in drag like 2 years ago too, so it's wild.
nice, nice.
Yeah. And then of course Eddie Murphy and like Richard Pryor and Dolomite. Those are like my three main influences, and that's why
Yeah.
a mixture of those guys on stage. So for the
Yes.
most part,
Definitely could see their influences in your comedy. You have your own
yeah,
way, but I see their influences. Yeah.
indeed.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So what was it feeling like when you first performed stand up?
Going on, when I first was about to go on, all I remember saying is, why the hell am I doing this to myself? Because, like I felt like sick to my stomach the very first time that I was going up there. But the minute I got up there, it's like I felt this rush of exhilaration, and I mean, we could talk about the chemistry behind that, but whatever. But it was a good feeling, and it's like really truly an addictive feeling to be up there and knowing that for whatever length of time I'm up there, 5 minutes or to 10 minutes that I've done before, that I'm truly at that moment making people feel better, and so that it became addictive.
That's the one hell of a drug too. So that's why I love comedy. So
Sure is. Sure is.
yep. And let's see here. We talked about my influences and stuff, and so with Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and Dolomite, John Leguizamo, and what are your favorite comedy specials, comedy record albums, and comedy podcasts?
Uh, that's a good one. So of course I have some of the old ones like Raw, um, and Delirious would be some of the old ones. Richard Pryor I didn't listen to until I was older. I was already an adult because when I was younger, people acted like that was the dirtiest thing. Then of course I am very influenced by Kevin Hart, even though that doesn't come out of my style quite yet. So I liked Seriously Funny. I felt like that was probably one of his best. Grown Little Man. Comedy podcasts. That's a good question. I probably don't listen to as many comedy podcasts as I should because things like this come out, where you can get little tips here and there. But I also try so hard right now not to listen to something that in my mind is going to get me overthinking more. Like, did I get that premise somewhere, or am I saying it like such and such person? So I could benefit from listening to the right people, but I don't have a lot that I can name right now.
Indeed. Yep. If you get the chance, listen to Kevin Hart's Gold Mines. It's such an amazing podcast. He gets into the minds of all
Okay,
the
yeah,
comedians. Oh, it's so good.
okay,
Yeah,
wonderful. I do have that actually on my list. Yeah, I need to just listen to it. I like
for
listening to
sure.
all his books because even his like motivational books are just presented so humorously. Like I could listen to that day and night. Ali Sadiq, I can't believe I forgot to mention him. Ali Sadiq and the Domino Effect, all of them.
Oh yeah, it's he's such a great storyteller on stage. It's
Yes,
I'm
yes,
jealous.
yes.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm jealous that he just goes up there and he could just be like, "Hey," and everybody's so tuned in. He doesn't have to give us anything more than that to start off with, and then we are tuned in, and he just goes through his stories, but he does it in such a hilarious way.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love that dude. And I'm so glad that he puts all his specials on YouTube for free to watch. It's
Me
just
too.
what a gentleman.
Yes. Well, he's I guess tale and how to do things differently and on your own and have more control. Like I think he's going to pave the way for a lot of comedians now to have more control over their material and how it's grown and who profits from it. So I think that's good for all of us to witness to.
Big time. Most definitely. And let's see here. Uh if you can go on tour with any comedian, locally and internationally known, which comedians would you like to go on tour with?
Kevin Hart. um, and Ali Sadiq. As far as females, I have to say, I can I name dead people? I would love to
Yeah,
have gone
sure.
with Joan Rivers at some point. Joan Rivers is great, and I didn't recognize how great she was, before. But now I listen to her, Phyllis Diller. Those are probably my two favorite female comedians. Um, and yeah, I mean, probably those two. And then locally, there's quite a few. Like there is, I don't want to say this and make it sound like I don't want to tour with other people, but there's a whole group in Melbourne, I think, that are great comedians. Like EJ Mack. He's new. He's coming up. He's funny. I don't know if you've seen him actually perform, but he's super funny. Um, Preach Carter, Jonathan. You mentioned Jonathan before. Eric. I know you had Eric on here before. Eric seems like he's about to go on tour, so I should probably mention Eric.
Yeah,
So like he can take me on tour. But there's a ton of them. I'm telling you, the Melbourne area has a really good, talented group of people.
I agree. There's
Ash,
such
Ash, and I can go somewhere.
yeah, and I'm glad we're on the same coast. We're like sister cities of comedy, so it's really nice.
Yes, yes.
And like we had to battle it out at Madcaps, for like the versus battle, and
Uh huh.
I just got drafted like second round draft pick, and I was so happy that I got drafted for second round pick instead of like the first round pick, and I had to go up against Brian Milligan, and
Oh,
yeah, yep, and Chris Robinson was like talking mad trash about us about the scene on one of his podcast
Chris
episodes.
Robinson, never
I
go fast.
So it made me so fired up because I'm like, I would never
Good.
talk trash about any scene because I'm like, they're all my
Right,
friends, and
right.
so like burned a fire in me that I've never had, and then I just go up there and like destroy the room, and I'm bummed that Brian would got in the way of the crosshairs. And I took him out, and like,
Well,
uh,
you did what you had to do. You did what you
yeah,
had to do. There's no friends in war, right? And that was a battle right there. So
it
good for
was.
you. I wish I was there. I wish I was there to see that.
I'll send you the link if you'd like. You'll see my
Yeah. I
stand up.
would. I
I'll put
would.
send Susan my verses. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because I have not. Obviously, I have not gotten to that level where I'm feeling like I can do that. But I want to be prepared because in case somebody talks trash, I'm not good with that. I want to be able to empty the clip. I want them to feel so bad the next day that they're not sure they want to be friends with me, but then they remember it's comedy, and so they laugh
yeah.
it off
And I
eventually. But I want them hurt that night.
and we felt bad and good at the same time in the end because we found out that like Chris rented a Mercedes like Sprinter van, to drive everyone up pretty much like and like on the way home they recorded
Oh,
podcast how they lost and it was just
oh,
poetic justice.
oh.
And
No,
like
no, no,
we're gonna
no.
use our winnings and pay off this van and everything. And I'm like, okay, we should have pulled up on Harleys and showed him who the boss was.
Exactly. Get a U-Haul next time. 1999, I think.
Just put everyone in the
Oh
back.
man, that's why I put everybody in the back. Just strap them up with those little furniture straps, whatever.
Indeed.
That was more in the budget of people who lose.
Yeah. Oh man. And like I would have loved to go up against Jimmy if he was still here, and because he's
Mm.
like one of my favorite people on like ever in life. And I don't know. He taught me a lot in stand up. Like just tell the nice jokes first and warm their hearts, and then get dirty. And it's just yeah. And then I
Okay,
got dirty.
that's
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And I did
That's
I
so
did
fun to
great.
watch, though.
Oh, it is so. I love it. I love watching my friends watch other people that don't know my style and
Uh
like
huh.
their reactions. It's so they always tell me after my sets like I loved watching other people watch you and like
Right,
it's
and the
fun.
look that comes on his face, being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is coming out of him."
Yeah, that's what happened
That's
with
fun,
Uda
fun.
at oh, that's what happened with Uda at Gregory's. Yeah, because like Rudy booked me as a guest spot, surprise guest spot, and she was like she wasn't so entertained with everyone that went before me, and then I just told her like Jimmy was there and he was like, just start clean, and then get dirty. And then I was like, all right. So I made Uda like come out of the back and watch me perform. That's why.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch the your stuff that you're gonna send me.
Oh, for sure. I'll send it your way soon. Oh, and some of those guys you mentioned, and those like Joan Rivers, I got to see her special too. It's on Hoopla. It's like if you have a library card, you can get Hoopla or Canopy, and you can check out like 5 things per
Oh,
month.
you
It's
can.
fantastic. So
Oh,
for free,
nice,
it's a
nice. Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome. And I
That's
don't have
perfect. I
like
do have a
Netflix
library
or
card.
oh, nice. See which one works. It's either Canopy with a K or Hoopla Digital, and
Okay.
use
Okay.
that. So I'll remind you
Thank you.
to get either Hoopla Digital or Canopy. Either
Thank
one.
you.
Yep, you're welcome. And yeah, I saw Joan Rivers special on there. She just started saying anyone that are this group of people leave or whatever, and some of those other people can stay. But then after that, after she went into your entire list, she went into her material, and it was
Uh-huh.
like near Chicago, like Chicago land. It was pretty neat. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Yeah,
her.
and so
So quick.
she's the best. Her books are amazing too. If you ever get the chance to read them, she has some books.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay, I will do that. I heard about her
awesome.
system of having like jokes, and even that's amazing. But then she makes it look so easy, but she was so meticulous. So a lot to learn from everybody, including you. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Right back at you. I can always keep learning from everyone. It's like that's what I love, like watching everyone do stand up. Cause I'm like the DJ at the Turn Oak Irish Pub, and so I get to watch everyone from like the front row. If they're kind of boring me, I'll find a reason to like go talk to the host and then come back.
Okay, so now I know if you go talk to the host, I gotta up my set. I'm boring you.
Yeah. So it's like
Good to know.
because I don't smoke cigarettes, so that's like my cigarette break. I'm like, I need this. Like, I'll just go talk to the host.
I need to go talk to somebody else. This person's boring me.
Yeah. Oh man, because I've seen some people bomb there, and like they just, oh, they do the full 5 minutes and sometimes run the light. And I'm like, if you're bombing, just
Oh,
do 3 minutes and just get off stage.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's not make it more difficult for everybody.
Yeah. Oh man. And that's why, like,
Yeah,
put together a crust punk. I'm like, all right, if you're bombing 7 minutes, at least that's like 2 more minutes than what you would get at an open mic, and then 10 if you're doing
yeah,
good, and 15 if you're killing. I think that's a good
yeah.
tier.
I feel like that's a great system and for everybody, including the comedian, but definitely the audience, because the audience just wants to laugh. They don't care how much time you have up there. They just want to laugh. And if you're drifting off with that, it's not fair to keep rambling on just because you want to try stuff.
Yeah,
But you it might be an off night for you. Might be 15 minutes one day, and then another day you're just a little off, and you need to be saved at 7.
big time. Like I'm
Yeah,
dying up here. Get me off stage.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But that comes with time, I can imagine, with the professionalism, being able to see that in, the act of the comedian that's up there.
Big time. And so, yeah, I love producing, but I'm like, it's just such a. ugh. I just there's
It
good
looks
things and
like a
bad
lot.
things.
It
Yeah,
looks like
I'd
a
much
lot.
rather tell jokes and get off stage. Just
Right, right. It's so much easier just from what I can tell so far. You
yeah,
know, eventually I'd like to get a room and all of that stuff, but right now I'm just enjoying learning and performing, showing up when everybody else has done all the work, and do my 5 to 7 and enjoy.
yep, 100%. And so let's see here. If you can get roasted by 5 comedians, top 5 dead or alive, which comedians would you have to get roasted by?
Woo, roasted by. Okay, Don Rickles. Should I put him in there?
Yeah,
The roast king. Um, Red Fox.
awesome.
I'll probably let Cat Williams go ahead and roast me, just so I could use whatever he says against myself in the future because it'll be funny. Um, Probably Joan Rivers and Paula Poundstone.
Awesome, fantastic, and so some of those, I'm not sure if I asked you the question yet, but like if some of those folks have been on TV and film, and so what are your favorite sitcoms, sketch shows, and comedy films?
Sketch shows in living color, probably number one. SNL, I really love SNL to this day. Of course, it's had highlights at times, but always loved it. Mad TV, um, Black Girl Sketch Show is I haven't watched it enough, but what I have seen, it's been hilarious. Key and Peele, and I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question? Like the sketch
Oh,
shows, and then
uh,
uh, did you ask me about sitcoms?
yep,
Like
sitcoms.
um, of course, Cosby Show, and Everybody Loves Raymond. I like that. Seinfeld, I like that one. The Bernie Mac Show, Wayans Brothers. Um, shoot, My Wife and Kids.
Good
Everybody Hates
stuff.
Chris. Bunch of
There's
good
so
stuff.
many
Yeah,
good ones.
so many good ones. Oh, Chappelle Show. How can I leave that out? Oh my goodness, I
Oh,
quote that almost daily.
I quote that almost daily too. It's been 20 years, but
Yeah.
like recently, like they kept on like on my algorithm, they show me like the bloopers from Chappelle's show, and I'm like, I'm
Me
sharing
too.
this Prince one, I'm sharing this the the players haters ball
Play hate a
one,
ball. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
and then
I'll
like
talk. I'll talk about your bitches, but it looks like you ate them.
yeah, oh
I know.
man,
Love
I
it.
love it, and I'm like on In Living Color they showed Jim Carrey and David Allen Greer
Uh-huh.
as the blind guy playing the blues, and so
Uh-huh.
I just shared that clip and I'm like, I miss this stuff so
I
much.
know. Me too. Me too. I feel like people are starting to kind of go back to where they're not as sensitive. We're not there yet, but like I feel like there's a bunch of comedians kind of testing the line a little bit. Saying things that 2, 3 years ago, definitely 5 years ago, you couldn't say because it was so politically incorrect. But now I feel like people are starting to realize how overly sensitive that is, especially in comedy. It's not like you walk out into the street and say some of these things, but in comedy, it's that's the whole thing, tension and then release. So I hope we swing back to where we can have more sketch comedy and comedy skits like that.
Oh yeah, most definitely, same here. Let's see here, and also comedy films.
Yeah, well, I like one that people don't seem to really enjoy. Okay, Life. I'll go with that one. Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Harlem Nights, of course. Um, the Toy, the old one. Um, I really like Pootie Tang. It's so silly, but it's like it's so genius in its silliness. Like
Yeah,
if you just look at it from the just the surface, just it just seems silly. But we need silly in our lives. Like we don't want anything about that movie to have been realistic. So that one, I like Baps. I like Halle Berry in Baps. I don't know if it was just because it wasn't like the most comedically strong movie, but just seeing her in that role, especially at the time when she was just nothing but glamorous, that was fun too. I know I'm missing a whole bunch, but Life is probably my favorite. Like I could watch that every day.
oh well, yeah, one of my faves. Like, are you gonna eat that cornbread?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you just knew where he was coming from no matter what. You still didn't get my cornbread.
Yeah. Uh, good times.
I'm not supposed to ask you. I'm probably not supposed to ask you that, but what's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite all time, like hands down, is Tommy Boy with Chris Farley and David Spade.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
oh, like,
Yeah, yeah.
my
Okay.
life is so
Yep, that's a good
similar
one.
It's like I was in college for 7 years, and then like my final semester I got a
Okay.
D, just to graduate because I had a
Uh-huh.
2.6, and that was barely enough to graduate college. And
Right.
I
You
worked
just
for my
wanted to get out of
dad.
there.
Yeah, so there's so many things that were so similar. So I was like, that's my all-time
That's
favorite.
fun.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and
That's a
I
funny one. I do like that.
I love it. It's and I went to a theater in Jacksonville or Atlantic Beach, called Atlantic Theaters, and they're
Uh-huh.
not allowed to like put the name of the movie on the flyer because of like legal reasons. So what they did
Oh,
was
okay.
they put a quote about like what they said in the movie. Like, all right, it starts at 7 o'clock. Here's a quote. Here's a hint, and just come see it. And so I got to see Tommy Boy on the big screen in a theater. So yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah,
You recognized it from just the quote.
yep. And I can't remember what it was like brothers don't maybe it was like brothers don't shake hands, brothers got a hug or something. Maybe that was a quote,
Oh.
but it was something like that.
Whatever it was.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he
awesome.
was another
Is
great
that
talent.
Oh yeah, he was one of the best.
Mhm.
I loved all his movies, like Beverly Hills Ninja. Like my favorite line from that movie is like, "Your lies bounce off me like ping pong balls." I just I uh good stuff.
He has iconic characters too.
Hmm. And I loved him
I'm
on
always talking about
SNL.
the man who lives down in a river, down, well, in a van down by the river.
Yeah, gosh, like some what was he, like a motivational speaker or something? Something
Yeah,
Foley. Yeah,
yeah.
I love it. I used to have a shirt with him on it, with that on, and I'm like, I wish if only if I get him that shirt again, but I can always buy it online again. Who knows?
That's like a lot of us
Um,
comedians when we try to go all in. We're trying to make people laugh, but we're living in a van down by the river.
yeah. For me, it's a Subaru, so that's totally fine too.
Checks
Uh,
out.
I Yep, I only got a Subaru because like two of the comedians, like Anna Lepley and another comic, Mark, out of Denver, said Subarus are the best cars to like tour with, and I'm like, okay,
Oh,
I'll get a Subaru to go on tour with. So that's the only reason why I got it, because comedians
nice.
recommended it. So yeah,
That's all we need.
absolutely. And where do you see your comedy journey in the next 5 years?
Well, definitely, I hope to be at least opening somewhere like some of the bigger places, like maybe going out to where there's bigger scenes, even though I like it here. But I definitely want to take this just as far as it can go at this point, so and I don't believe in capping dreams at all. So I'm just gonna try to work really hard and try to have as much energy as I can to get as good as I can. And then I really see myself like just being on tour, like going to different places and definitely moving further out for different comedy audiences, maybe even like internationally, but just thinking more in terms of I want to travel. So when I travel, I want to be able to be doing comedy while I'm there. So
Absolutely.
all those things.
It'd be what are you doing tonight? I'm not asking on a date or anything, but like, what are you up to tonight?
I have no plans tonight. No
Oh,
shows, nothing.
perfect. Because I'm not plugging this show because I'm not on it or anything. But if you go to the Funny Bones website for the show
Uh-huh.
tonight, enter
Uh-huh.
free as a promo code, and you'll get in free. And the reason why I recommend this show is because it's four of Orlando's finest headliners on the bill.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it's like Ken Miller, Ross Paget, Ricky Reyes. I forgot who the other person is, and forgive me, but I will find out about that who the fourth person is. But it's definitely like a crash course of stand-up comedy, finest, and it's just I don't know. It's just to see Ken Miller like on stage, admission, not free, but like worth more than free. So he's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you. And you're so right. Watching people is like the best education.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, big time. You're welcome. So I don't know. You'll find out who. So it's gonna be. I should have known. It's James John, Ricky Reyes, Ross Padgett, Ken Miller. So those are the four headliners that are. So
Heard of
enter
them all, so
the
yes.
the promo free. Yep.
Perfect. I will do
So
that. Thank you.
indeed, you didn't hear that, did you? You're welcome. If you want, I'll meet you out there because I don't have plans either. And like my friends are like, let's not meet up until 10 o'clock. We're gonna do karaoke in Daytona at Dirty Harry's. And I'm like, I don't even do karaoke like that. So,
Nice. Okay,
but
great.
yeah,
Thank you so much. And this,
you're welcome.
I'll look it all up.
And so
I won't
let's
make you
see
tell me
here.
now, but I'll look up the time of the show.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and let's see here. What's your favorite joke a comic has written?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Probably um, Poppy ain't no snitch. You know that one. Oh gosh, why would I blank on his name right now? Oh my gosh, Thurman. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Um,
Oh,
I Papa.
Rashad Thurman.
Okay. I
Yeah,
wish I
and
knew him.
uh, yeah, he passed away unfortunately kind of young. But he had that one joke that went viral that always I could never scroll past it. Just it was so well written and so well performed. Where he talks about trying to not being able to rob an old Hispanic man, you know, because he basically I can't do the joke justice, but but Poppy ain't no snitch. I'll send it to you so that you'll see
Awesome. Can't wait to see
it.
it. Yeah. Oh, Susan, I think your screen might have frozen on me. So it's like
Oh no.
indeed. So if you want, log out and then log back in and see if it'll work, and then
Oh, okay.
I'll
Okay.
plug your
Hold on.
socials. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Oh, hold
you're
on.
welcome.
Let me figure out how to log out. Uh,
It's like
I
leave
don't know.
studio and then come back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So while we're waiting on Susan, I didn't mean to make the screen freeze. If it worked out, it'd be perfect on your end. But she was. But if you like, follow her, like, subscribe, all on her link tree or on her Instagram below. Donate to her comedy journey as well. Her cash app is there. If you want to check out my link tree with a lot of my specials or like minis, my best sets ever, it's on my link tree. So check that out as well. But yeah, if you'd like to create your own StreamYard, the information's there as well. So hopefully you love the interview so far because it's been a fun interview process with Susan here.
Yes.
So
Is that better?
I believe so. It's still blacked out, but uh,
Uh-oh.
we'll see what's the haps.
Okay. I
Yeah,
can hear fine, but can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Yep. But there's
Okay.
like
All right.
no picture, but that's okay. We'll just use your voice instead. So
Okay. That works.
yeah. Awesome. We'll roll with the punches until
No,
it
right. That's what we
reappears.
do.
Yep,
That's what
yep,
we do.
absolutely. Let's see here. What else? There's a which experience would you like your audience to take with them after a set is over?
I would like them to I would like them to feel like they were able to relate to the experience that I was joking about so that they could find the humor in, you know, any situation that they run into that's similar. You know, whether I'm talking about work and something that happens there because it's something we all have to do. And it's better when we can find the humor in it. So I would like them to be able to walk away relating to that enough to get them through like when they're in a similar situation.
100%. Absolutely. Same here. I'm pretty sure at least one person in the audience has experienced the things that we've been through. And so it's like, oh yeah, I've been there, I've done, I felt the same way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. And so
Especially I
let's
talk
see.
about dating a lot. I talk about how hard dating is. I feel like a lot of people could probably relate to that.
Dating is hard. I've been single for 14 years, so I'm like, I just,
Oh wow. I say oh wow, but I'm close to that. But yeah, it is hard. It is hard.
I mean, I gotta admit, like, I wasn't really trying at all. Like, I'll
Uh-huh.
have like crushes here and there, but I've never said,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, let's go out." Well, I took them on like on dates or like dinner and stuff, but like some of them are too expensive for me. I'm like, can we just go to Checkers and get like a two for
I
six
know.
deep sea double? I like that's all I want.
Exactly.
Oh man, and like
Can we
the
go?
dating
Can we
apps are
go
just
to BJ's? And she thinks that you'll be like, can we go to BJ's? And she's gonna think you have something else on your mind, but no, they got samples there.
yeah, it's just
We can just go through the samples. We can loop around.
yep. What's that? That yeah, we'll definitely take samples. We'll just go to Sam's Club instead and just do laps. So, and that's why we're both single, folks. It's like, oh man, but
I
like
know that there's the reason.
yeah, I just fell in love with my dreams, goals, and aspirations. So that's why I just can they keep up? I don't think so. I don't know, but who knows?
It would be difficult. It would be difficult, but yeah, but I'm sure there is somebody who could keep up. But you can imagine where it's more difficult because it does take so much devotion, and some people can't split devotion like that. So
Big time.
same
But I
thing.
think,
Comedy's my boyfriend now.
yep. So like that's what I fell in love with. So they love me back sometimes. Not much when I'm bombing or when no one comes to the show because of the Dolphins. So
I
it's like,
know. I know. But we forgive them. We forgive them just like we do in a relationship. We forgive that audience. They'll be back out when
oh
they
yeah.
realize the Dolphins suck. No, I'm just kidding.
When we're famous, I'll come back out and like, oh yeah, we remember seeing you. No, you didn't. Like,
No, you didn't. You had a chance to.
yeah. Oh well, it happens. Um,
It
but yeah,
happens.
and so the next part is called it's like where the stand up speaking is like a secret society of stand up comics, and with that being said, which you got to be invited to be on the show. So which five comics in Melbourne would you like to see on a future episode of the stand up speakeasy?
Okay, so I feel like you probably have a lot of the people that I know already. Well, EJ Mac, because he's new to the area, so you might not have had him yet, but he would be a good one. You probably yeah, you have had Jonathan because I saw Jonathan. Um, Julian McNeil,
Okay,
um, Sarah Mays. She's a newer comic to the scene too, and I feel like new and female. Like sometimes it's good to like everything that you just told me is a learning experience for me. So I feel like that would be really great. You probably had Preach already, but if not,
possibly.
if
I
not Preach because he's entertaining.
Yeah. Yep. I lost count on to how many comics I've had on from Florida already. So I'm like, I'll just
Yeah,
go through the playlist, see who's been on it. And there's like 52 comics from Florida on this already, so it's nuts.
yeah. I could imagine, and that's why I'm trying to think of like me being newer on the scene. Most of the people that I know, so I'm trying to think of who I haven't seen because I did look through some of your interviews, and so I knew like the ones that I can think of right at the top of my head. I'm sure you've had Ash, but
Possibly.
if not, I would just say her because she's very entertaining
Oh yeah.
and probably a wealth of knowledge too. Even though she's I don't know how long she's been in the scene, but she's experienced in my book, but newer to some others. Heather Hill, um, yeah. So I think that was
Awesome.
about five.
That's a good group. And when I
Yep.
interview Ash Cash, we'll just say God is good all the time, and then I'll have her say all the time God is good.
There you go. There you go. And you know people will tune into that interview and love it.
Yep, absolutely. I'm she's one of the best. I love her. She's blossoming so much out there. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Susan. It means a lot to me, and can't wait to see you perform at the festival. Which I'll remind everyone is October 2nd to the 5th. Turno Irish Pub is 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock on the second. Uh, Punk Rock Pizza is 8 o'clock on Wednesday and the Thursday and Friday, and then we go to the Turno Irish Pub at 10 o'clock, and then on Saturday we
Yes.
go from 8 to 10. And so that's the schedule. So go to my acuitypie.com or my link tree below to my website and just click on Sweatfest 2024 Daytona Beach lineup. You'll see Susan's on there with all her social media and all that good stuff on there, so you can follow her and all that good stuff. Um, and so, with that being said, oh, shout out to Quan's Kitchen and Kale Mills and Spa, Blowback Gallery as well for having the ones in Colorado, and the new Star Bar for helping out with the drinks for the bands. And yeah, so oh, also Susan, what are your upcoming shows?
So tomorrow at Grumpy's Underground in Orlando, we have an all-female show, and some of the women that I mentioned wanting to see on the show are going to be there, and that starts at 7 o'clock. And then my next one after that is Salad Fest on October 2nd. So something else might come up, but if something comes up in between, I put it on my social. So,
Awesome.
but I'm excited for tomorrow, all female.
Sweet. It's gonna be a fun show. So shout
Yes,
out to
yes,
Amanda at Grumpy's. She's always supportive of me and lets me put flyers up and stuff there, and she's rad. So yeah.
nice.
Thank you, Susan, for being my guest today. Any final words you'd like to give out to the audience at home?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for having me, invite only, and I really appreciate you inviting me and encouraging my career. And then I just want to thank everybody listening for supporting comedy and just realizing how much the audience does mean to us because we literally do go out there to try to make them laugh first, and that helps us to feel good ourselves. So shout out to the audience as always.
Big time. Awesome. Thank you, Susan, for being my guest. And I'll send you all those, the hoopla, the canopy, and my versus battle, and which comedian cursed at the church show.
Can't wait to hear that one. I'm gonna say
Awesome.
I see that, but I just want to see if I'm right.
Sounds good. Awesome, pal. Thank you so much for being my guest, and for
Thank you.
everyone else, thanks for tuning in to this Dance Speakeasy.